Watch the ride.
Hey everybody, hang on a minute. I know who that was. Hello dude. Hello. So, bike insurance. I don't think I've ever really talked about it too much, but I do have a tip, and it's my #1 tip for trying to save money on your insurance. But first things first, well, I guess we're going to aim this video at people who are new riders, because if you're not, you're going to know about insurance, but the end tip might still help you. So when you go and get your bike insured to start with, you're probably going to be scared by the amount that they're going to ask for, and yeah, I'm afraid that is the case. Bike insurance is normally expensive, very much so as you start out, but it does come down over time. Now, people very often say, like, oh, how much do you pay for insurance on that bike, because I want to know how much I'd pay. Doesn't work like that. Insurance is, yes, it is done on the value of the bike, and that is the value of the bike at the time that you insure it, but when you come to having a claim, for instance, say it's completely destroyed, they won't give you that amount. They'll give you what the market value is for basically that bike, its condition and miles. Very often they use the glasses guide and stuff like that, and that thing can underquote massively. Like, for instance, the prices in the glasses guide for the DRZ are not in line with the actual market value anymore, because this thing's been increasing, but that's an exception to the rule, but normally it's a bit low. If you do have an accident and they offer you a silly small amount of money for your bike, best thing to do, go around on the online sales, find bikes of the same age, miles and all that sort of stuff as your bike, that are for the most expensive ones you can find, and then send those to them and be like, look, this is the current market value of this bike, not what you're saying. You probably won't get the same amount. They may request to see actual sold items rather than up for sale, but you can actually increase how much money you get for your bike if you just fight a little bit. There are basically 3 levels of insurance: third party only, third party fire and theft, and fully comprehensive. What that basically means, third party is if you have an accident, your insurance will pay to fix their car, not your bike. But if someone hits you and it's their fault, well, then their insurance will pay for you. Basically, the very minimum you have is if you hit someone, the other person's vehicle is going to get paid for, but yours won't. Third party fire and theft is third party, same as the first one, but also it will cover you for it being nicked, and it also covers for it being burnt. And fully comprehensive is it will cover you whatever happens. If you just crash into the ground, you go into a fence or something, you know, who would crash into a fence? Yeah, then you can claim. But you don't necessarily want to do that, because you have an excess, which is the amount you have to pay to basically access your insurance as in to use it. So say you make a claim, they might say, well, you need to pay £400 for the claim to start moving forward. If it's a non-fault thing, then the other side pays that, and you don't pay a thing. Your bike just gets fixed and it's completely paid for by the other side. But that's where the arguments of fault and blame come in when it comes to making insurance claims. Security and storage is an important thing. If you put more locks on your bike and stuff like that, then yes, you can get a reduction in the costs of your insurance, same as if you keep it in a garage rather than on the road. However, do note that if you claim, oh, I have a big chain and I have a steering lock and I have an alarm, for instance, when you're parked out and about, if your bike gets stolen and you're not using that alarm, that steering lock and that chain, they will say, well, you're not covered. Not always, but generally that is the case. Like, for instance, on this bike, the only real security on this is the steering lock. And basically my insurance stipulates that if I was to leave my bike somewhere without the steering lock on, even though it is simple to break, they would not pay out because I hadn't done what I was supposed to do. So obviously the more secure you can guarantee your bike's going to be by, say, for instance, saying, oh, well, it's locked up in a garage. So they'll even ask you the construction of that building, like, oh, is it a wooden thing or is it a big stone thing? That makes a difference. So basically store your bike as securely as you can, and you have to keep to that. Otherwise your insurance might try and screw you over. So as I say, all these different things that affect the price are things which will be unique to you, different circumstances, different locations. Maybe you'd live in a little village that just happens to have a lot of crime. You might pay a lot more than someone who lives maybe 5 miles down the road. Yes, do shop around. Keep in mind that these these like comparison websites exist. You can use these, but very often I find that the prices they give are not reliable to what you end up paying, because there's all sorts of extras and stuff that gets added on, legal fees and blah blah blah. When you get your insurance, you will also talk about legal fees and extras and stuff. Very often they'll offer you a load of extras. Some of them do it for free as like it's an included in the price type thing. like helmet cover, like European travel cover, breakdown cover. I get breakdown cover. It's very basic. It's only within 25 miles of my home, but I have used it twice now. So I'm very grateful that I've had that. And they're just not optional, sorry, they are just bonus extras. You can add on more stuff if you want, but that's, again, a basis by basis thing. Obviously, also license level, length of holding that license, etc. is going to make a difference. A very quick side note, if you own a Chinese bike, you might find that some companies, they used to be this a long time ago, like this, they don't give you very good prices. There are companies like Rampdale who specialise in stuff like that who will give you better prices on those bikes. Okay, but you're all asking, what is this #1 tip for getting a cheaper deal on my insurance? And it's so simple. Ask. Seriously, when they send you a quote, it will be X amount of money. Or when you get a renewal, you just ring them up and say, hi, I'd like to discuss my renewal. Make sure you do this a good few days before it's due so you have the opportunity to shop around. And you just say to them, no, I'd like it to be less than that. I mean, use the, I should go back in. No claims bonus is a thing where if you don't claim for a year, you get a bonus. And it helps reduce your insurance. Up to about 7 years. Beyond that, makes no difference. Going back to where I was. So, for instance, with me, I've got like 9 years no claims bonus or something. So, even though after 7 years, it doesn't help reduce the price, it is a bargaining chip. It's like, oh, come on, man. I've had no claims for 9 years. My bikes are kept inside. Overnight, I do everything that I can do. I want to see that price coming down. And they'll probably say, well, there isn't a lot we can do. And you say, well, I really would like to see that before I then decide to, shop around or something instead. And very often they're like, oh, well, I'll have a word with my manager. You probably won't do anything, though. Well, it's always good if you're a valued customer. And obviously, this isn't the first time thing. But if you've been with someone year after year after year, you can argue you are a valued customer. They normally come back and offer you a discount. And sometimes it may only be like a very small percentage, but depending on how much you spend, it can mean a lot. Now, for me, on my last insurance, I think I got, I did mention this, but I might have misremembered it, but it's about, I think I got an extra 50 quid off. They said they couldn't do any more, and I said, come on, I want a bit more than that, and they knocked like an extra 50 quid off, and it was like, okay, it's fair enough. But I do that every single time I renew my insurance. I always say, no, it was more than that last year, I want to see a reduction. I have had a reduction on the cost of my insurance every year since I started. Like, it has been a downwards track. Now, I do have 2 bikes now, so, it's a bit more expensive, but dual bike insurance isn't massively more than just 1 bike necessarily. So it's not necessarily that big of a deal. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. Seriously, ask. I know a lot of you don't do it, because a lot of people are funny about standing their ground or speaking on the phone as a basis. And I know a lot of people hate speaking on the phone, and honestly, I don't understand it myself, but whatever. Do it. It will save you a lot. And I say, I've had like 50 quid knocked off in the past. I've had more than 200 knocked off before now. Reno's just done her insurance, and they basically gave her a quote with a very small reduction on last year. And I said, no, you've got to ask them for some more money off. And sure enough, she asked them, and just by asking, she saved like a couple of hundred quid. Just by asking. Now, this is something that annoys me about insurance companies. If you can literally just say, hey, can I have it cheaper? And they knock £200 off, you have to feel like, wow, they really were going to just take me then, weren't they? They're not trying to get me the best deal at all. They're kind of just hoping I won't say anything. And I think insurance companies make a lot of money that way, because people won't, particularly English people, don't like confrontation. They don't like, it's not confrontation, right? You're a customer, they're a business. The person on the end of the phone probably gets this a lot. They know how to negotiate deals. They're paid by the company to try and get as much money, but they say they're trying to get the best deal for the customer, but I honestly don't believe that. Sorry, I just don't. Not when you can just go, more off please, and every time I've done it, I've managed to get at least £50 off. 50 quid. If you find 50 quid on the floor, if you find 20 quid on, if you found a fiver on the floor, you're like, yeah, bonus. 50 quid? It's money. It's useful money. Oh. So yeah, I know that's a really basic tip, and you might be like, well, I'd do that anyway, Spicy. Okay, cool, you do. Lots don't. New riders don't think about doing it either. Ask. Now, I say, as a new rider, you are going to be paying quite a bit. There's nothing you're going to change that. It's just you're new, okay? If you're on a CBT, you're new. You got an expensive bike. Man, I hate to think how much like one of the YZF 125s costs to insure. Oh God, it must be at least 1,500 quid, something stupid like that. But yeah, just try it. The worst they can do is say no, we can't do any better than that. But I guarantee you'll get something off, maybe. Not in all cases, but generally you can get a bit more off. Anyway, if you found this video useful and you are a new rider and you're looking into all these sorts of things, I have a playlist called Videos or Tips for New Riders. I can never remember which way around it is. It's a playlist I've been working on now for 2 years. It's got about 30 odd videos in it that will help you get into biking, how to ride the bike, the license understandings, control, everything you need to know. It is a one-stop shop to get you from never riding a bike to even up to a full license with all the information that you need to know. If you do have any questions though about stuff that hasn't been covered in that playlist, stick them in the comments. I would very much be interested to plug the gaps of what I've missed in the past. But yeah, with the insurance, that's the way it kind of works. It's very variable. You're just going to have to shop around and get quotes. But remember, particularly on renewals, ask for a discount. I want to pay less. All I say is, I want to pay less. The thing is, it works. There you go. Catch you next time. Bye-bye. If you enjoyed this video and the other content on the channel, please consider following the links in the description to show your support.